Glad to be here. I want to thank Ann McNeary and the committee for putting this on every year. Special thanks to Ann for her calm and steady and low-key leadership. As we put this together and go through it. You'll be okay come Saturday, you'll be fine. Anyways, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been traveling the state a lot. I've been spending a lot of time in the Capitol, listening to people, talking to people about what's going on. We always, the discussion always really comes down to the economy, to our jobs, because that's really at the core of our lives and our ability to provide for our families. So these are very important issues, and as we oftentimes open up our discussion, or when I address groups like this, we start off by addressing what's going on in the economy. Now I can see by the agenda that there's been a lot of discussion about what's going on, and that's good, because we know that jobs and the economy is the number one issue on people's minds going into election year and beyond. And there's a reason for that. Our future of trade unionists here in the state of Wisconsin, at the start of the crash of that recession, we knew that the top of our agenda would be jobs, jobs, and jobs. And at this time, the unemployment rate just hovers just under 10%. And it's really no wonder. When you consider the trade policies that have failed American workers, they reward outsourcing, which results in the loss of family-supporting jobs. There are trade policies that have left in its wake a path of social destruction, loss of jobs, loss of health care, disappearing pensions and 401ks, a record number of foreclosures, a social network that has become overwhelmed. Many of our members who have lost their jobs are now facing life without even their unemployment check, as months of searching for work has proven fruitless. But I don't need to tell you, you all deal with it on a daily basis. And while we're dealing with what is an all-time high level of anxiety among our members, the reckless greed of big Wall Street banks that has helped wreck the American economy and kill American jobs is going on. While working families lost jobs, homes, and hopes, Wall Street took $700 million in taxpayer bailouts and went back to business as usual. And it's time for Wall Street to help pay to create them. So as I've said before, these are times that will test us. They're going to test us as a nation, they're going to test us as a movement, and they're going to test us as individuals. And now, more than ever, it is also a time for courage. Courage to face the future, courage to stand up and say, we need more than promises. We need jobs, and we need them now. Courage to stand up, courage to fight, and not give in to disillusionment. A lot of people were counting on big changes happening right away when we were given control of the White House, the House, the Senate, and the State Assembly to go along with the State Senate and the Governor's office. That's a lot of people with progressive ideas and ambitions whose path to changing the world was blocked by the debris dumped down on all of us by Wall Street and 8 years of debris from the previous administration in Washington. And we can do it again if people and policymakers have the courage to stand in with us and not cave in to anti-union mentality and attacks. President Trump, in his remarks at the National Press Club, said it well. He said too often Washington falls into a grip of ambivalence about the fundamental purpose of government. Is it to protect the wealthy elite and gently encourage them to be more charitable? Or is it to look after the vast majority of American people? Now, generally when we start talking about the rich versus the rest of us, I'm often accused of starting class warfare. Well, two things. There is class warfare that's going on, and the second thing is, it's only warfare if we fight back. Right? Right! And policies. 27 bills and policies that organized labor has supported has been signed into law. That's the difference that putting Democrats and friends of working families in office has made to us workers here in Wisconsin. 27 policies and pieces of legislation signed into law. Once again, do not fall into the trap of disillusionment. Issues that have been advanced: organizing, support for collective bargaining policies. We fought to make sure that unemployment benefits were not cut to those who are laid off. Fair wage provisions, fair taxes, closing corporate tax loopholes. Issues like the American Jobs Act, impartial justice, Buy American provisions, equal pay for women, all at the close of '09 have all been signed into law. If you want to see more of them and go into the details, you can get that on our website. But by the governor of that year was the teaching of labor history was signed into law after over 10 years of work on this organization's behalf. And thank you for your support. Currently, we're waging a campaign for fairness around workers' wages in bankruptcy, an issue called wage lien protection. The position paper is in your handouts. Read that over and contact legislators in the Assembly and tell them they need to get that bill out of the Assembly. Currently, we're working on a Worker Privacy Act. That's a bill that would allow workers to opt out of captive meetings when organizing drives are going on. We had a public hearing on that yesterday. And you know, WMC brought out a lot of lawyers, and they all talked about if this was illegal or not legal, court challenges, trying to scare the Democrats away from passing this law. Well, I see on your agenda you have a gentleman from the Assembly named Joe Parisi coming to speak to you tomorrow. Well, when he speaks to you, please make sure you thank him, because this guy did a great job of pinning down those WMC attorneys in the public hearing. He asked them the question. He said, well, if employers have mandatory meetings to talk to workers about why they should not have a union, does the union also have the right to have a mandatory meeting? Well, this lawyer from WMC said, well, that's not a yes or no question. And Parisi said, that is a yes or no question, and I want a yes or no answer. The guy said, I can't give you a yes or no answer. I pinned him down to issues about fairness. It's about leveling the playing field in an organizing drive. So make sure you thank him for pinning these guys down and helping define that issue. That's what the difference is of having friends in office. They ask the right questions. They make sure the issues are debated fairly and that our position and our side of the story gets out and is told. Complicated, organizing, education, mobilizing, make sure we get things in place for the November elections, but also to figure out how we continue to work year-round to build the accountability and the support we need. That we need to make America a place where there's a strong and vibrant middle class. That we build an America where there's a strong and vibrant union movement once again. And I say we can start doing that right here in Wisconsin and show the rest of the country how it's done. Right? Right!